Meg, first let me say you're doing an amazing job this summer. You are working so hard. You are sticking right to those pacing guides, so you know exactly what you need to get through before the end of the summer, and you're doing it, and I'm so proud of you. I just want to talk about the few questions you missed on the inequality assessment. First one was question 5, and I have to tell you, this is a common error. The mistake you made is a very common mistake. It says, which graph is the solution to the inequality? 4 is less than x. You chose letter B, and a lot of students would jump to B. But I want to talk about this inequality. There's more than one way to write this inequality. First of all, if 4 is less than x, what kind of numbers could we put in place of x? 4 is less than, is 4 less than 5? Yes. Is 4 less than 6? Yes. So 4 has to be less than x. So the type of numbers that we could replace x by is like 5, 6, 4.5, 4.1. 4 is less than 7.2. It's actually letter A. 4 is less than x would be letter A. You want all values of x that are greater than 4. Because there's two ways to write this. 4 is less than x, or you could write the x first. But if you write the x first, if 4 is less than x, like 4 is less than 5, 4 is less than 6, then that would mean x is greater than 4. And I think when you circled the answer, you almost assumed in your mind the x came first. That's why we have to be so careful. If 4 is less than x, 4 is less than 5. That's true. Or over here, we could write that as 5 is greater than 4. So you just have to be real careful. You have to look, is the x coming first here, or is the number coming first? When the number comes first, we got to slow ourselves down and really think. You don't go automatic, just choose an answer. You slow yourself down, you think about it. Let's take a look at what letter B would say. Well, letter B is that x is less than 4, because the numbers like 3, 2, 0.5. Here you can see 3 is less than 4. Or you could have written that as, well, if x is less than 4, you could have written that as 4 is greater than x. And then you could substitute some values in to be sure. Is 4 greater than 3? It sure is. So this letter B could be written as 4 less than x, or, x less than 4, or 4 greater than x. This one right here is the fact that it's an or equal to, because 4 is included in the group. So we could write this as x is less than or equal to 4, or you could write it as 4 is greater than or equal to any of the numbers shaded. Is 4 greater than or equal to any of those numbers shaded? Sure. 4 is greater than or equal to 1. 4 is greater than or equal to -3. So there's more than one way to write these inequalities. You got to really be careful. Is the number written first, or is the x written first? And then you have to just really slow yourself down and think about it. And this one right here would be all numbers, all real numbers. So that letter D didn't even have a shot. And I can see your mistake is a common mistake, because had the x been written first, B would have been the answer. But x wasn't written first. The 4 was written first. Hopefully that helps with that one. You had one other one that you missed that I'd like to go ahead and talk about. It was question number 11. And again, first of all, I was impressed with what you did. You reversed the inequality symbol when you divided by a negative. That you totally did. The issue was an integer rule. And so let's just run through this one real quick. Okay. So if I want to just solve this, I'm going to add 4 to both sides of this inequality. And I could see through your answer, it appeared to me as though you did that beautifully. 5 plus 4 is 9. And then I could tell by your answer that you divided both sides by -3. To undo that multiplication, you used division. You had x is, and you reverse the inequality. When we multiply or divide by a negative, We went through why we would reverse the inequality symbol. We used some real numbers to figure that out. So you totally reverse the inequality because you divided by a negative. I loved that. But guess what you put as your answer, Meg? You put a positive 3. And we know a positive divided by a negative, positive 9 divided by negative 3, a positive divided by a negative will be a negative. That was your only issue with this problem. So the answer should have been x is less than or equal to negative 3. There's a negative 3. I'll shove a positive 3 over here. So you're looking for all values of x less than or equal to negative 3. Oops. And if you had substituted values in, you would see 0 wouldn't have worked, 1 wouldn't have worked, 2 wouldn't have worked. So if you have negative 3x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 5. Your answer here, you said x is less than or equal to a positive 3. Well, if I substitute a 0 in here, it won't be true. If I did 3 times 0 minus 4, this is how I can always check. 3 times 0 is 0 minus 4. Negative 4 is not greater than or equal to a positive 5. So 0 would not have been in your solution set. Okay? Everything less than or equal to negative 3. And so I could pick, what's a number less than negative 3? Oh, negative 4 is less than negative 3. And if I chose that value, it would work. So let me just... negative 3 times this, in this case, negative 4 minus 4 greater than or equal to 5. I'm just substituting a value in from my solution set and just double checking it. Negative 3 times negative 4 is a positive 12. So we have 12 minus 4 greater than or equal to 5. 12 minus 4 is 8. 8 sure is greater than or equal to a negative 5. So this is definitely in your solution set. So that's just a quick way to check. But again, the only issue you had in this entire problem, positive 9 divided by a negative 3, a positive divided by a negative is a negative. All right, I hope that cleared that up for you, Meg, and just keep rocking it. You're doing beautiful. You will very much be ready for your final exam at the end of August.